making is the process of summarizing, condensing, and organizing information from various sources, such as lectures, books, or meetings, into concise and coherent notes. These notes serve as a valuable tool for retaining key points, aiding comprehension, and facilitating effective study and reference. Now, what is the importance of note making for students? You see, as students, you have to process a lot of information, and it is not possible for the human mind to store all this information in its full form. So, you need various methods to store this information, and one of the effective ways of doing it is note making. So, it keeps a lot of information at our disposal for ready reference. It helps us reconstruct what was said or written, and thus accelerates the process of remembering or recalling. It comes in handy in delivering a speech, participation in a debate or discussion, writing an essay, and revising lessons before an examination. Now, how does note making help students? If you are involved in note making, then you stay active and engaged during your lectures, reading, and revision. Otherwise, there is a chance that you might doze off while studying or attending lectures. You can be selective and identify the key ideas. You can organize your ideas and make connections. And finally, you can review and revise before your exams. Now, effective note making has certain features, like they should be short and compact. Try not to use full sentences because it is again not possible to keep them in mind. So your sentences that you use while note making have to be very short and compact, which are easy to remember. They must contain all important information. The points must be presented in a logical manner, and they should be understandable when consulted at a later stage. Now, there are three stages of note making. The first stage is before. Now, when you want to make notes on a certain lecture or a certain topic, then obviously it is important for you to know what is the main theme of your subject. So you need to know the purpose of the reading or the lecture. Then comes the stage of during. Now, during note making, you need to note down the main ideas and keywords using techniques that work for you. And the last stage is after, where you reflect, review, and then organize your notes. There are 4 steps involved in note making. The first step is read the passage carefully and try to grasp the theme and subject of the passage. Second stage is identify the main ideas and make notes of them under the heading, subheadings, and subpoints. While making notes, use the proper format. Also, while making notes, use abbreviations and symbols wherever possible. Now, a standard note or note where you are making notes should look like this. So there has to be a heading. Then you can put it under several subheadings. So they can be subheading 1, subheading 2, subheading 3. And they can also be points under subheadings. So they can be point 1, point 2. Again, if there are subpoints, then you can do something like 1.2.1 or 1.2.2. Now, for effective note making, it's not always necessary to use words. You can also use symbols. Like there are universal symbols, like for and, percent, for I dot E dot, and for E dot G dot. So you can use these symbols, and there are other examples. These are only a few examples that I have given for your convenience. Also, you can use mathematical symbols like greater than, less than, equal to, or. You can also use abbreviations to make your notes shorter and compact. Now, these abbreviations can be used in three ways. The first one is using acronyms, which is the capital initial letters. For example, if you want to write Prime Minister, then you can just write PM. If you want to write United Nations, you can just write UN. If you want to write World Health Organization, then you can write WHO. The second one is using contractions. Now, what is contractions? It is taking the first few letters of the word. Like for captain, you can just write CAPT dot. For library, you can just write LIB dot. For September, you can just write SEPT dot. Then the third way of using abbreviations is the short forms, where you take the first few and the last few letters. For example, if you want to write department, you can just write DEPT. If you want to write standard, STD. If you want to write secretary, you can write SECY. Now, one thing that you need to keep in mind while using these abbreviations is that you should not use any confusing abbreviations. Like you should not use an abbreviation which could also mean another word. So you have to be very clear while using these abbreviations. Now, there are some mistakes that you need to avoid while note making. First of all, do not overload your note making with information. Use only the key ideas and the key points. Secondly, do not take verbatim notes. That means do not write the exact sentences that you are hearing or you are reading. Thirdly, review your notes after you have made them. A situation should not arise where you revisit those notes and do not understand the context in which you had written down those notes. And the last one is that there should be no lack of clarity. Whatever notes you are making should be very clear for you to understand at a later stage. So this is all about note making. Thank you.